Thank you, Wendy, for that very nice introduction. I appreciate that. Thank you, President Balls, members of the Board of Trustees, administration, and faculty, distinguished guests, friends, loving families, and most of all, the class of 2014. I am deeply honored to be here. It is a tremendous privilege for me to be addressing you here today. For the students here, I urge you to dream big. It is because of that, dreaming big, that I am here standing in front of you as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, and as Wendy said, the first woman ever to serve this region of Illinois in Congress. For those who don't know me, don't feel badly at all. I've just been in office a little bit more than a year. And for a little bit of background, I serve the 17th District of Illinois, which covers the northwestern and central part of our state, and is anchored right here in the Quad Cities, where I've lived for just about 3 decades now. Students, when I was your age, attending also a small liberal arts school called Illinois College in Jacksonville, Illinois, and later attended a very big college called University of Illinois, I had absolutely no idea that one day I would be giving the commencement address. In fact, President Balls, cover your ears for a second. I have no idea who the commencement speaker was when I graduated. It was almost 30, or actually it was more than 30 years ago now, so you can maybe understand why. I was probably at that time a little more interested in what the movie of the day was. And so date back, for those of you who can remember, to 1983. The big movie of the year was Return of the Jedi. Go Star Wars. The big album was from Madonna. She was actually huge then. And that was back when we had records. And again, parents and grandparents may remember that. And I was probably a little more worried or thinking about where I was going to go on summer vacation with my friends. But what I did know is that I wanted to be in a position in my life where I can make an impact on other people's lives in a positive way. But like maybe some of you here today, I had no idea exactly how I was going to get there. I wanted to know what my first job might be, but I didn't even have that lined up at that point. And I certainly didn't know where I would end up in life. Had no idea that I would be here. So after attending Illinois College and graduating from University of Maryland, I had an internship, and it did not inspire me. So I realized, though, that I had a passion for asking questions and wanting to know more about people and events and what was going on in our community. And so that inspired me. When somebody said, you ask so many questions, you ought to be a journalist. So I went back to school, got my master's in journalism, attended University of Illinois at Springfield, and it was at that point where I got a very up-close look at our state government for all its glory. An open reporter's job was here right in the Quad Cities. I'd only been here once in my life, had never been there any more than that. But I decided to take the job. And this is why it was so appealing. So maybe students, you might be able to relate to this. I don't know what job offers you've had yet. But keep in mind, the pay was miserable. If I took the job, I would have no weekends off. In fact, my shift would be 5 p.m. until 1:30 a.m. And again, didn't know a soul here. So certainly there was no glamour to it whatsoever. But I can tell you this, I absolutely loved the job. Loved it down to my core. And then something changed a little bit. I was the night cop reporter, so I covered the police beat. And I was invited to a third shift party, which means that the police officers who would get off at 8 in the morning would then have a party starting at 8 in the morning. So I decided to go to this party. And 2 hours into it, so you can kind of imagine a little bit about what was going on for those previous 2 hours, I met a guy who I thought was pretty cute. He was a rookie cop. I was still a rookie reporter. And his name was Cheri Bustos. So I ended up getting married. We ended up having a family, raising 3 sons together. Eventually, 17 years later, I would leave journalism for something else where it would be a little bit unusual for me. I was offered a job at Trinity, which is a health system here in town, to run their communications department. So it was a way I viewed it at the time to make an even bigger difference in people's lives. I had the good fortune, as Wendy said, being an investigative reporter and uncovering stories of crime and corruption, and also writing stories about good people that we have in our community. But I took this new opportunity. And I'm just sharing this with you, students, to let you know that you just never know what direction life is going to go. There's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, there's a lot of challenges, and at best, life is unpredictable. So as you're sitting here in the iWireless Center in Moline, Illinois, a little uneasy, about to close this chapter in your life and start another one that has not yet been written, you certainly are not the only one. Trust me. When I was your age, I had ambition to make a difference in our community. But let me give you a little bit more background. I was a good student, but certainly not a great one. I did not get a 36 on my ACT. I did not get a 2400 on my SAT. Not even close. I was not Phi Beta Kappa. And I saw the long list in the program here of how many of you are. In fact, as just a quick aside, my mother and father also attended a liberal arts school. And my dad used to joke that he missed Phi Beta Kappa by only 2 letters, A and B. Also, I have below average musical ability, unlike the beautiful chorus in the orchestra that we heard earlier. I think I'm a good dancer, but I'm told I'm really not. So one piece of advice that has guided me throughout my entire life and has helped me succeed, and it's what I've stayed focused on, and I offer this for you today, students, is to challenge yourself to get outside your comfort zone. And let me explain that through a drawing I saw in a magazine. It was a women's magazine that I read not too long ago. And if you can visualize this, since we don't have PowerPoint here, all it was, very simple, a circle, just a circle like this. That circle was labeled comfort zone. And then in that circle was the end of an arrow, going outside the circle, the comfort zone, to a little dot. And at that little dot, so outside the comfort zone, just said where magic happens. And I can tell you this, that's exactly what can happen if you try to live your life that way. It's how I've approached my life. It's how I've approached my career. And if I could leave you with one piece of advice, you probably won't remember me in 30 years, just like I don't remember my commencement speaker. You may not even remember this main topic, but if you can live your life by doing your best to get outside that comfort zone, trust me, it will work for you. It was getting outside my comfort zone that allowed me to leave my hometown of Springfield, Illinois, to come here those 30 years ago, and to have this third shift journalism gig that I told you about. If I hadn't done that, I would not have that most satisfying career, something that I changed my life. Not only did I meet my husband, but I helped make a difference on our community. Had I not ventured outside that comfort zone, I never would have left the Quad City Times and gone on to a 10-year career, eventually that led to me being vice president of communications for a pretty large Midwestern-based health system. And I can tell you this, if I had not gotten outside that comfort zone, not in a million years would I have ever run for Congress. It is not exactly a comfort zone type of place, let me tell you. You live every day under the microscope. In being in elected office and being in Congress, you generally, day to day, you have maybe half the people who think you're doing okay and your votes were okay, and you have the other half of the people that think your votes were terrible or that you did a terrible thing. And so it's not necessarily a feeling that you get used to, but I find tremendous satisfaction in knowing that my work can make a difference in other people's lives. I know that every single day I have the opportunity to do that, as do the people I work with. So unless you are willing to live outside your comfort zone from time to time, you may just be running in place. You may not be in a position to achieve the level of success that I know each and every one of you is capable of. How do I know that? I haven't met many of you. But here's what I do know. That you are graduating from Augustana College. This is a special, special place, and I know you know that. You had to be special to even be admitted to Augustana College. This is a great school with a great faculty, great staff, a beautiful campus, and a tremendously impressive student body. And parents and grandparents and family, you look okay too. I have several Augustana College graduates on our congressional staff. We've had several interns on our congressional staff, and I know how hard you work, I know how intelligent you are, and I also know how much potential you have. And while you will all walk out of here today with a diploma in hand, you will really be walking out into the world equipped with so much more. You'll have access to Augustana graduates from all over the world. You'll have a well-rounded education that taught you to think critically for yourself. And perhaps most important of all, you will have friends, and trust me on this, who will last a lifetime. You may not realize it now, but the life lessons you acquired during your years here at Augustana will show up throughout your life in ways large and small, in ways noticed and unnoticed. And before I close, let me also recognize the parents and family members of you fine graduates. As the proud mother of 3 sons myself, so many of my proudest moments were with my children. Hockey games, the Cub Scouts, high school proms, and moments like this, college graduation. Without the support of family and friends and your parents, we all wouldn't be here today. In my case, they provided me with guidance and support and that unconditional love, tough love that sometimes we all need. So please, graduates, if you haven't already, take a moment to thank your families. And not only your family, but also the support systems that you have in place. The incredible administration and faculty here at Augustana, your friends, your colleagues, the list could and should be a long one. Please be sure to thank them as well. Congratulations, graduates. I look forward to hearing great news from you over the next 30 years when you have no idea who in the heck your commencement speaker was, but I do want to hear how you're doing. And I would wish you good luck. I would, but as you venture outside your comfort zone, I absolutely know you won't need it. Thank you.